I know I should have known better. There are many topics I've said that I want to walk away from, and I try. Lord knows I try. But this is one topic that still needs addressing, and actually it's taking surprising turns, some of which makes me just, because some of the things that people are focused on are not what's actually happening. Some of the things that people aren't focused on are what actually are happening. And then we have a government that once again is ultimately not going to really do anything. And I'll get to that when I get to the president's response to violent video games and violent media in a bit. What I want to talk about is the pro-gun, the opposed gun viewpoint and where we stand. Because you have New York passing some of the strictest gun laws, including a ban on assault rifles, the very thing that you were accusing that Obama was going to do. And obviously, I think banning further guns from getting in the hands of everybody wouldn't be a terrible idea in terms of the assault rifles. That said, we have the pros completely going off the rails here. Second sheriff refuses to enforce any new gun laws. Kentucky's Tim Mueller sends letter to Joe Biden. President Obama will reveal his gun control plan this morning, which actually he has, and from what I've read, there's almost nothing of what we need in there, but I digress. And one Kentucky sheriff will no doubt be listening close. Lynn County Sheriff Tim Mueller has become the country's second man in such a position to declare that he does not plan to enforce any laws he sees as unconstitutional. A Kentucky sheriff made the same announcement yesterday. So you're a man of the law, and just because the law is not to your liking, it's unconstitutional. And therefore, you're going to stand as the shining beacon to the country and to your community by standing up for what you think the patriots would want. I think David Pakman's guys said it best when they said that everybody seems to be assuming that if the founding fathers had to make the Constitution today, in this day and age, that they would do everything exactly the same, that they would look at this situation and be able to see that there is a need, an immediate threat within the community or the government, and sanction what people think as patriots that this should go. Remember how that went when a gentleman was calling for the patriots to pack their bags, clean their guns, load up their mags, because it's going to war. This is becoming a very childish, a very subversive civil war that is going on here. You have people who are literally wanting to stand in the way of progress and not adhere to government laws. I'm not saying that if a government did become tyrannical that we should still follow the law. Obviously, that would be against what the actual founding fathers cared for. And part of a reason why we made not only a constitution, but a constitution that has some wiggle room in it. Because then we go down even further to Texas, where Texas wants to arrest any feds who try to enforce gun laws. Yes, you want to act like you're men, and yet you want to create laws to prevent people from doing their jobs. And not only that, should they do their jobs in your state, might as well be your country, the ways that Texas seems to be acting, and I'll get into that later on in the evening as well. is basically just that you want to then throw them into prison for doing their jobs because you disagree with what they want to have done. You disagree with their ideals. They're against, I guess, your sense of morality, which again we will get to later on in this evening. And therefore, you want to act as if you are the better men, the better state, the better country, for lack of a better term, with how Texas is acting lately. That basically you just want to ignore laws in favor of your own law and laws and the things that you want to do because you feel that you have the right to. I'm not going to stand here and say that I'm extremely happy with what Obama is doing as of late. I'm certainly not, and we'll get to that as well. I am, however, extremely disappointed that I used to be you. Every time somebody said something about gun laws, I'd say, well, the Second Amendment! Or I would try to make some impassioned plea about guns are a necessary tool, guns are this, guns are that, guns are, guns slice, they dice, they make julienne fries. And I can't do it anymore, guys. I was with you up until the point to where you took the higher ground when it came to this latest tragedy, and then basically pushed everyone off the cliff in favor of a very, very pro, ignore the signs, ignore the science, ignore everything, blame everybody, throw everybody else under the bus kind of ideals and tactics. I don't stand for it in any kind of thing that I identify with. I don't let it slide with the atheists who overstep their bounds. I don't let it slide with the theists or the anti-theists who also equally try to overstep their bounds. I don't stand for it when the MRAs go a little too far and actually do go into women-hating territory, nor do I let the feminists do the same to men. This is why I don't belong to groups. Groups get into group thought. Groups just start ignoring facts in place of what they like or what fits with their reality. And it doesn't work. I'm sorry that life sucks. I'm sorry that life is so hard. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry, though, that you were willing to literally kill law enforcement and even military personnel in a quest to keep your toys. You disgust me. You disgust me on a level that there is not a word for anymore. But you antis in your tactics, your ideals, you're no better than the disingenuous vegetarians. I'm not calling all vegetarians disingenuous or vegans. I'm just talking about the vocal minority who tends to throw in ethics and everything else they can into the discussion rather than speaking facts. Or if they speak facts, they're from a absolutely dedicated anti-meat website where the information is often inaccurate and very suspect. I don't respect you if you cannot come into this topic being genuine, being honest, being above all intellectually honest, willing to listen to the actual facts and statistics of the other side and absorb that information, and be willing to come to the table, willing to compromise. We've lost that. It's gone. And I don't know if it's ever coming back. But I'm still going to try to pry it out of you, America, because even if I may be looking at Canada at some point with my fiancé, I was born here. I love this place. I don't love what you patriots and anti-patriots have done to the place.